Yeah, that's how I understand those numbers to go.
That's right. Yeah, well, we're live now.
The Sunday morning
All
news
right. Well, those
review, starring
are,
Mary
yeah,
Tell, Tony Venus, and Matt
oh,
Anders
sometimes I just
as
amuse myself, and sometimes I even amuse you. I'm always proud when that happens. Well, I guess we are probably in the final stages of our prep.
Is that a
Since-
Mickey Mouse over there? Does it seem the side of his head?
Yes, it is.
All right. I think we should have it back here, or would Disney sue us?
You probably would.
All right.
Or we'd lose listeners because we're promoting specific items or something. I don't know.
Okay.
We are live, by the way.
Well, I promote PenguinCon at the end of my tooltip today.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Is it
Okay.
because you're going to be doing a talk on this tooltip?
Kind of. I'm going to be doing a talk on Red Jacks. I decided to make it using grep with Red Jacks. Make a talk on using grep with Red Jacks. Or Red Jacks and grep, or
Or something,
however you want to
something like that.
put those two together.
Fantastic.
Because today's tooltip is grep.
Fantastic. Okay. Huh.
And it's not as long as last week's because I didn't have twice as
Last
long
week's?
last time
Okay.
because I didn't have twice as long to do it.
Right.
Yeah, it's. I think what is it, the Peter principle, where the amount of time? No, that's somebody rises to their level of incompetence. What is it? The work tends to increase to fill the
It
amount of
does.
time available.
It does because I was
I don't know what principle that is.
reading the thing about this.
Mhm.
You know, one of the one of these it was about how meetings fill up how whatever time they're allotted for.
Yeah.
So if you allot half the time, it fills up half the time. So they used like Google Docs and Google Calendars for the company to set meetings up and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he went in and he changed the default time from an hour to a half hour. So then all of a sudden, all these meetings were suddenly a half hour long instead of an hour long. And
Work
it-
got done, or they got done faster. That's pretty funny.
That is
Okay. Let's see. We got our episode name, right?
funny. Yeah.
What is it? We got lampshades? No. What was it? We
Ode.
changed it. Ode to Octothorpe.
Octothorpe Bang.
No, if you're going to go with the official long way to say the pound sign, then you got to say the long one for the exclamation. What is that? Do you guys know?
Exclamation point.
Exclamation point.
There's no
Or mark.
like
Bang.
I
bang.
just called it the
No,
bang
I was.
symbol.
but
Bang.
There's
Mhm.
got to be like a I don't know. Octothorpe is.
Sounds impressive.
Yeah, no, it's. I don't know.
All right.
I don't
Well,
think there
I
is
don't,
one
okay.
correct. It's just the exclamation mark.
Okay,
bang.
then we can exclaim.
Hash bang.
Hash bang.
Yeah.
There you go. Pound bang. Okay. I think we're ready to be official.
Just about.
Okay. Oh, Tony's doing your work.
Sharing.
Thank you so much.
Let people know that we are actually here.
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah. Oh. Mm.
In bash scripting, it's called a shebang or a shebang.
Oh, there you go.
When you put the hash and the bang together at the front of the top of the script.
Shebang. Hmm. And that's because it probably originated from the old born shell, which is sh. Shebang. Shebang. That's probably where it originated.
I have no idea. But
Okay.
any scripting language uses that because it tells the operating system what interpreter to call.
That's right.
Like if it's a Python script, you say it's hash bang /bin/php, you know, or
Mm-hmm.
/user/bin/perl. It's Perl script.
Okay. All right. Are you all set, Tony?
I think I am.
You all set, Matt?
No.
All right. Well, let us know when you are.
As soon as I read these retweets.
I didn't know you had a Twitter account.
Oh yeah, I
He,
tweet a lot.
he retweets. Now I've been tweeting every time we
I
post
know,
a show.
I retweet it, and then
Yeah.
after I retweet it, Michael Lucas retweets it from me.
Yeah.
Really?
I saw that this last time, and well, he's following me now, so he might.
I'll be cut out.
Yeah,
He no longer needs the middleman.
he's going to the source. And one of those tweets
Right.
that probably came up was me saying that we're live now.
I don't know. Let's see. Yes, right there.
Okay.
All right.
Excellent.
Right above
Excellent.
Michael Lucas, who tweeted this morning.
Already.
It was great, except for the attack of the evil puppies.
What was that?
It's part of a conversation. Would you like to view the whole conversation?
No, that's
yeah,
fine.
let's
We're gonna
start
roll
on
here.
the show.
It says, so last night I dreamed about sweet little golden retriever puppies who turned evil and killed people. How was your night?
Oh my gosh. Well, that's
Hmm.
that's kind of a scary dream.
Yeah.
All right, let's we probably should get rolling here since the whole first 5 minutes of
I
the
agree.
hangout is just
Let's do it.
blathering.
All right.
The Sunday Morning Linux Review, starring Mary Talmadge, Tony Venus, and Matt Enders as the neighbor.
It's all right. I'll just I'll fix that in the edit. All right. This is Tony Bemis,
Matt Enders.
And Mary Tomich,
and this is episode 144.
Ode to Crunchbang.
Yes.
That's right.
So, and the reason why we're saying that, for those of you who may not be aware, they just announced this week that the active development of that Linux distribution is going to stop.
Well, not necessarily the active development. The lead guy, the guy that started Crunchbang, is giving it up.
Mm-hmm.
But I read an article where it may not go away.
Okay.
Some other people might pick it up. So.
Well, that's good. Maybe it'll be like Bohe Linux, where it just kind of went dormant for a while and then it's back again. So anyway, but we wanted to name our episode after that event.
Yeah.
Didn't I review that? I know it was on Is It Alive once or twice, maybe.
I don't know. I don't remember you reviewing it.
Okay.
But it's Chronominal. That's his handle for the guy that's.
Oh, okay.
He was the lead developer or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Project manager. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's.
Well, as you have heard through Matt sneezing, that our soundboard is working again, and it was either the cable or the power adapter, and I just swapped them both, so it's working now.
That's great. That's troubleshooting step 1, isn't it? Plug it in or unplug it or switch it or something like that.
Yeah, but normally you only change one thing at a
Right.
time.
Oh.
That's
Yeah.
why I made the distinction that there was 2 things I changed, and it's working. So I'm not.
That's good.
I'm not going any further with it.
No, don't touch it. It's good.
Right.
All right. So anything else, or did you spend most of your time doing that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult
schoolwork
you.
and
That
homework. And,
yeah. Okay.
Kids and family. I don't know. It's been busy.
I
It's just
suppose.
house unpacking things,
Mhm.
cleaning, snow shoveling this week. We
Don't
got-
talk to me about snow shoveling.
We got
Okay.
what 14
You
inches.
could talk to me about it.
On Super Bowl Sunday, I went to a Super Bowl party
Mhm.
at a buddy's house in Royal Oak.
Oh.
After the party was over, it had been snowing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and one of the other guys at the party actually had to push me out of
Oh.
the parking spot so I could get on the way. And then I got all the way home from Royal Oak.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Within 20 feet of my parking spot that my landlord had kindly shoveled out for me and got stuck.
No way.
I had to call a tow truck to get winched the 20 feet from where I was stuck into my parking space. It
Oh,
cost me $75.
really?
Yes.
Wow.
Do you have a snow shovel?
I was for
We do
75
now.
bucks next time. Matt, for next time, call me. I'll come out and shovel you the
For
20
50.
for the 20 feet
The
for
car
75
was
bucks.
actually
Yeah.
on top of the snow.
Oh yeah, that was
Oh,
the
yeah.
problem. There was so much snow. One thing you can also do too is get a container of kitty litter.
Yes, I'm aware of all these fixes.
Okay, after the fact.
Yeah, I was aware of them before the
Yeah.
fact. I
All
did
right.
not plan on getting stuck.
Right.
All right.
My little snowblower worked mainly for everything, but 14 inches is, I think it's max. That and I snowblowed 3 times while it was snowing, just because I knew it would probably die out after it gets over like 4 inches and it doesn't work. So
Is it electric or gas?
it's gas, but it's
Single stage.
um yeah, single stage, and
Mhm.
it's no, but the problem is that it's all worn down. It was given to me, so I need
Okay.
to put like $200 into it to get it back to like
Hmm.
good working order. Um, and that's not in the budget this year.
Yeah. When when we first moved here from Minnesota, which they get a lot of snow up there, we bought this snowblower that's just this huge hunker because I had no idea what the snow was going to be like. And there were several years where it just never really made it out of the garage because there wasn't enough snow.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
but it really came in handy on Monday morning because I blew out. Well, mine came last. I was helping my neighbors out, and oh my gosh!
Mm.
So if I had been close enough, I would have taken care of your driveway, Tony,
Yeah,
Well,
and
thanks.
last year
and yours too, Matt.
okay.
Your
And
parking spot.
Last year we got a ton of snow. So
Oh,
we
my
probably used
God.
it last year.
I was very busy last year. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. So, oh, hey, Michael W. Lucas sent me a book to review for him.
Are you in the process of reading it, Mary?
I am.
Which is it?
I'm halfway through. Should I
All
stop,
right.
Matt?
Which one is it?
Networking for system admins.
I'm waiting for the print copy to be available so I
Mhm.
can buy that one.
Yep.
myself.
And so what I'll be doing next week is instead of a distro review, I'll be reviewing that book
Excellent.
in our segment that I've decided to name Half Book Review. But I promise I'll review the entire thing. And actually, it's really pretty good now. And I'm not a sysadmin. Yeah, I unofficially admin my
Yeah, take care of
computers.
your own
But
workstation.
I tell you what, there's some very useful information for people, networking information for people who don't do that for a living. So
Which I don't.
yeah. So
That's why I'm looking
anyway,
forward to it.
yeah.
I told him when I went to see his talk at the Mug Group,
Hmm.
we were waiting to get into the room, and we're talking outside. I said, "Man, I could have used your book yesterday because I had a SYN flood on a on a server, which I had to get mitigated. I didn't want to wake the networking guy up."
Yeah. And he's from what I could see, and also I heard this on the BSD Now podcast. He's got a book that's going to be coming out sometime, I think, next month.
Car Snap Mastery.
There you go. Yep.
I'm waiting for that one too because I want to start using Car Snap,
Hmm.
but I don't want to start before I read his book.
Yeah.
What is Tarstan?
It's an
kinda
online
yeah. If you
backup,
well, yeah,
encrypted
it's
from
an
your
excellent-
desktop.
Yeah, Mary, what she said.
I'm sorry, Matt.
That's okay.
I was just having a little fun now.
So it
It's all right.
encrypts it on your desktop before it sends to the backup.
Yes, it encrypts it over the wire,
Cool. Is that
and then it's encrypted in the backup. So if you forget your password,
Your host.
you're effed.
wow?
Yep.
And then you back it up to your own source server, or is this a
No,
service
you back it
pay
up
for?
to Tarsnap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's
Well,
an online system.
Yes.
okay. I didn't realize whether that was a service or a command
No,
that
you have
use.
to pay for it. It's 0.00.
Oh, it's like Pico. It's
a pico dollar.
it's yeah,
byte or something.
it's very yeah, and it's not. It's really not a Dropbox type of thing because it's not our syncing.
No.
It is just it's for
It-
really back things, important files that you want to keep, but you don't maybe use them frequently.
Mhm.
You know, it's an excellent way to
Well,
do
you
that.
could set it up with like scripts to back up daily to, and it'll do diffs, so it'll only back up the changes.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
I,
I'm sure that'll be in the
believe-
book.
From what I've read, I believe that is the case. I'm waiting for the book.
Yeah, I am too. So, because I still don't have Dropbox for FreeBSD or PCBSD yet. So,
Parsnap.
yeah, I'll be looking into it. So, and it's yeah, I mean Linux, any Unix like operating system, including Mac OS X. So, all right. And then the only other thing I upgraded to the latest release of PCBSD, which went okay. It took a couple times, but then the only issue I have with it is my notification icon. It says that the underlying FreeBSD version needs to be upgraded, but then when I go through it, it says nope, it's good. And then the icon then later goes back to saying, hey, you need to upgrade. So I'm just gonna let it sit and not worry about it. It's probably some little buggy thing. I'll check the forums; it might be there. So.
Report the bug, Mary.
Yeah, after I check the forums, that's
Yeah.
what I'll do. So, and that's it for me.
Check. You got to check the bugs first to make sure no one else has already reported.
Oh yeah, yeah. I guess I'll check the bugs, then check the forum. Yeah, I'll do my due diligence. So, but that's it for me. What about you, Matt?
I got stuck in the snow.
Okay, that was yeah, it was kind of brutal. I tell you, it was brutal. So, all right.
Yeah,
Right.
that game was brutal. Oh my God! Why would they throw the ball?
Oh my gosh, I
You know
tell
all those games are rigged. They threw
Oh,
it because the New World Order, they told them to do it like 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The Illuminati. That's,
Yeah.
Well, I think they did in order to deflect attention from Deflategate.
Why would they want to do that? It was the other team that was the Deflategators.
I know,
The
but
cheaters.
have you heard anything about it since the game?
No,
There you go.
the NFL hushed that up.
Yeah.
I really truly believe the NFL hushed that up
Yeah.
because it was a horrible scandal. If people really
Well, I
looked
think,
at it,
yeah.
I mean-
I agree with you. I think the idea that somebody can tamper with something. Now, the fact that the balls were a little under deflated, I mean that in and of itself doesn't sound like a lot.
turnover stats.
Oh yeah,
If
that's
you
right.
look at the turnover stats, the whole entire rest of the league is grouped up in a bunch down here, and the Patriots are by themselves all the way up here.
Mhm.
And it's not because Brady is some demigod.
Well, what's going to be
Aren't
interesting
they
is that
using the same ball, both sides of
No,
the team?
no.
Each team uses their own ball.
They got about a
Really?
dozen of them. Exactly.
Oh.
And then they both give them to the officials just before the start of the game, and the officials are supposed to
They
check
check
them.
one.
Oh, they check one. Okay. And there was only one ball that was inflated properly. He probably
Yes.
put it right back on top. I bet. Well, here's the key thing, and again, this and everyone, this is not the Sunday morning football review, but but let me make one last statement regarding the outlier status of the Patriots for turnovers. It'll be very interesting to look at this year's stats to see whether that continues or whether they're back more in the mainstream as far as their number of turnovers. So, hey, and speaking of courses,
What?
hey, have you guys heard of Coursera?
Yes.
No.
Coursera is this online. It's called MOOC, which is what is it?
Like
Massive
edX?
Massive online
something course.
Yeah.
massive open online
Yeah, of course.
course.
Yeah, I'm taking from the University of Michigan. I am taking introductory Python programming. Is it Python programming
taking it
for
through edX?
informatics? Huh?
Are you taking it through edX?
No, not edX. It's Coursera.
Oh, because I've used edX.
Yeah, I think I signed up for it, and I think it's similar. Although the course, there was a leadership course I was interested in taking. I don't know why, but I think you had to pay a little money for it. So
With what, edX?
yeah, So-
edX has totally free courses usually, but then you
Cert.
can, but for some of them, you can then pay and they'll certify that you
completed the.
Yeah,
Mm.
completed it satisfactorily.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Anyway, but
Nice.
yeah, so Coursera, really pretty cool. So the class started last week. So yesterday, last night I was going through all the last week stuff. So I got my Hello World script done, and it looks great.
And it says, "Hello world."
Oh no, it said Hello Mary.
Oh.
And we were supposed to we had to show because we had to take screenshots of the script and then of the execution of the script. So we had to put our name in it. All right, that's it. That's it for me for real this time.
Could have done "Welcome to Mary's World."
Yeah, I could have. You know what's interesting? What they do, not to digress, but the professor has set it up so that you then will be able to grade the work of your coworker, or not coworkers, but co-students, and so you press a button and up pop their two screenshots, and you could just see, okay, they did it. And what was really interesting for me is not so much that they did it, because I mean, how can you fail that? What were the different operating systems people were using, or just different tools? Obviously, there was Windows. It looked like Windows Vista, Windows 7. Somebody used Notepad plus plus. Somebody used Ubuntu. It was just kind of fun, and I was kind of just going through there, just looking to see what people were using. So anyway,
Yeah, that's nice.
okay.
Was the vast majority Windows?
Yeah, I think Windows seemed to be more prevalent. But I was very surprised to see an Ubuntu one pop up. I think it was like my third time clicking that button. I thought, somebody's using Ubuntu. So I graded it and said, very good. Looks good to me. Oh, so, all right.
You didn't put Linux Rocks #SMLR.us.
You know, it's funny you say that, because we had a little comments box, and I said, I put in there because, mine look a little different because I'm using ZSH, and, it just looked different. And then I use Kate, and I put, I use, I'm using Linux because the instructor.
Linux or PCBS?
I was at home on my workstation, and because the instructor said, when he gave his example, he uses a Mac, and so I put that. Then I put Linux Rocks, and I put a couple of exclamation points, and I thought, no, I'm not going to put that in there, so I erased it. But I did have that idea.
Yeah.
Should have done it, Mary.
I know. All right, I hear the call of kernels. There's a kernel out there.
Kernels. All right.
Matt, what's happening with the kernel?
All right. The mainline kernel is 3.19-RC7, and it was available to all of us on 2.2. Then the newest stable kernel is 3.18.6, available on 2.6. The long-term kernel 3.14.32, available on 2.6. Long-term kernel 3.12.37, available on 1.30. Long-term kernel 3.10.68, available on 2.6. Long-term kernel 3.4.106, available on 2.2. And that's all for the kernel news. I do have a bit of trivia.
Yes.
Did you know that when you're talking about releases like this, like release.18 is newer than release.3?
Yeah.
Because 3 should be 03.
Well, it's not. 'Cause
Oh.
it's not. They're not decimal. It's 3 because they started at 1, 2, 3, and counted their way up to 18, which is 18.
Oh, right. Well, that makes sense. So it's release 18, not release 3.
Right.
Where
Okay.
if it was release 1.8, then that obviously would be older than release 3.
Newer. That would be newer.
1.8?
Would be newer than 1.3.
Right. No, I'm saying 1.8 would be older than 3. 3.3 or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Compelling kernel conversation.
All right.
It's all everything that has a release number is that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It all depends on where the dots and the dashes are.
Yeah,
Okay.
But not necessarily decimally correct.
Okay.
They don't use a leaking zero.
They don't. But you have to look at the entire number between the decimal points in order to gauge it. So when you look at 3 versus 18, it is clearly implied that 18 is more recent than 3.
Yes, it seemed clear to me.
Hmm.
All right.
But we appreciate the
Well,
trivia.
a lot of people get confused. I used to get confused.
Mhm.
All right.
Never mind.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt. Hey, you know what I miss? I miss those kernel quotes of the week, kernel developer quotes.
Oh,
I think you need to read the kernel mailing list. And
I'll have to get back into that.
yeah,
Some kernel developer.
if I come across any, I'll send them your way because every once in a while I do, then I think about that. So I'll send it to you if I find them. All right.
All right. Well, I guess we're going on to the
Tony, what's going on with the Linux distributions this week?
distros this week. And we have to go way back to the 25th. So on January 25th, we have 4M Linux 11.0.
Didn't we talk about that last?
I don't think so, because that was released on the 25th. And our show was on the.
It was. I think it was released before our show because I remember talking about the 4Ms, what they meant.
Oh, okay. Then next up, we have Evolve OS. Oh, this is beta 1 though, but
Yeah.
it's I've heard a lot of good things about it. Because
Mhm.
Ike Doherty is the
Oh, is he?
developer for that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that'll warrant a review then when it gets a little further along.
Yeah. Very cool. All right, back on to actual releases. Gparted Live 0.21.0-1. And Gparted Live is a Debian-based CD with software for partitioning disks and data rescue.
Yeah, they've been out. They've been at least according to DistroWatch, they've been out since 2006, and they've never had a development release, which kind of makes sense for the kind of work they do.
Nice, yeah. Next we have is Backbox Linux 4.1, and they are Ubuntu LTS based and for penetration testing and forensics analysis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, their requirements are fairly modest. I mean, and they also put out a 32 or 64-bit ISO of that particular distro, and you only need 512 megs of RAM to run it.
Nice.
Yeah, and a graphics card capable of 800 by 600 resolution. So if you got one better than that, wow, it must really look good.
Right. All right. And the last one for January, on the 31st, we have SolidXK 201501, which is a Debian-based distro, which the XK and SolidXK refers to XFCE and KDE for the desktops.
Mm-hmm. And you can see there that they mentioned they're going to be transitioning to Jessie, Debian Jessie from Debian Wheezy. And what the project said is that after the transition, they're going to keep the old Debian repositories up until February 28th, just to kind of have that little buffer so that people can get themselves acclimated. So, and then they have 2 releases, one for home and one for business.
Oh, cool. Forgot about that.
Yeah.
All right. Next up on the February 1st, we have Black Lab Linux 6.0. It's service release 3 or SR3. And this is a distribution for professional desktop edition.
Mm-hmm.
Am I reading that wrong? Oh, yeah.
That sounds good to me.
All right. And their logo is a black lab dog.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, and I tell you what. First of all, with this release too, Kexi, which is the KDE database program, is I would not call it a similar to Access because it's not quite there. But this particular release is published with both the Postgres, SQL, and MySQL drivers, which is kind of nice. But they have got you can get Black Lab Linux on this little small footprint computer. It looks like a brick, and they call it the brick. and it comes with 16 gigs of RAM, 500 gig hard drive. It's got a SD card slot, graphics card. It's Intel, I think, onboard graphics, and a wireless keyboard and mouse for $550. And this thing, it looks like a little, just a little, like a little box. It's one of those little mini computers or microcomputers. And then they've got the Pro version, which is a little beefier. And then that's a couple $100 more. So
Nice.
yeah, and then it of course comes with Black Lab Linux already installed.
All right. Next up, we have a BSD release is 10.1.1 PC BSD. Yeah, and
That's right.
they feature improved management of software upgrades.
Yeah, that update, that updater, I could tell that they've done some work on it. And as I mentioned earlier, my only thing is that little icon that sits here right now and is telling me that there's an OS update. So, but I checked I checked into one of the utilities, and it is 10.1.1. So
with this release, also they moved to the Qt5.
oh yeah, they
So
did.
your little
They
updated
did.
thing might be related to their switch to Qt5.
That could be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Very
Cool.
nice.
All right. Oh, you know what? That was released on Groundhog's Day. So
Oh yeah.
that was the day after the big snowstorm here. So I was at home shoveling and clearing and waiting for the plow to come down the road, and sitting and watching the news. Them telling us that we're going to have 6 more weeks of winter.
I don't believe it.
Oh,
How could we not? How could you not see a shadow with so many news lights?
right.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one there.
It's all a joke. But anyway, continuing on the 3rd, we have Raspbian 15 or 2015-01-31. So apparently it was released actually on the 31st, but it had DistroWatch on the 3rd.
Okay.
And they said the big update is for Raspberry Pi 2.
Raspberry Pi 2.
Yep, and ARM7.
And speaking of Raspberry Pi, I was listening to the BSD Now podcast, and somebody's got NetBSD running on the Raspberry Pi's cousin, Banana Pi. And yeah, they've got, and they also have current images if you want to download them, including a set of pre-built package source packages, so that you don't have to do a lot of compiling of the initial packages.
All right. Yeah, and what's really cool about the new Raspberry Pi is that it's quad core now, right?
Yes.
Or is it dual core?
I thought it was quad core.
Yeah, and that was the biggest difference between that and the competitors that were coming out today. That like the Raspberry or the Banana Pi was quad core and a couple other ones.
Okay.
So I'm really happy to see the Raspberry Pi come out with a more beefy processor.
Yeah, I mean that's the one.
Yeah, and a gig of RAM.
Yeah.
Oh, that is nice. Wow. And the form factor, I mean, it's still the same size.
Still the same size. Yep, exactly.
I wonder what the price is for that. I have to
Same
say.
price, $35.
Oh man. Wow.
Yeah, nice. All right.
Yeah, it's got a quad core CPU and a gig of RAM.
Sweet.
For $35.
Yeah.
Wow. I
I'm
wonder when
telling you.
Micro Center opens.
I'm telling you,
Or
that
if you
is
order it
it's
online.
this big. It's so much better
Yeah.
than the first computer I had, which was
386.
it had 16 megs of RAM in it.
Yeah.
You know, so
That's
It's-
funny.
crazy.
Yeah. 16 megs of RAM? I would have thought you'd been around longer where there was like.
First computer I owned.
Owned. Okay.
Had 16
Okay.
megs.
All right.
All right. All right. Also on the 3rd, we have Simplicity Linux 15.1, and they are a puppy based with LXD as a desktop. And now they have both 64-bit and 32, I assume. Or no, 64 only.
Yeah. Well, I know for their experiment, they actually have 3 versions. They've got their netbook version, which is a cut down version of Simplicity, and it's designed to run cloud-based apps rather than local. Then they got the traditional desktop. Then they've got their experimental release, And this time around, they axed the 32-bit version, so you can only download that in 64-bit. So,
Oh, all right.
but it uses KDE as a desktop, that experimental release.
Cool. Next up we have is Q4OS 0.5.25.
Now, is that older than? No, just. All right, I'll stop.
and
No, you won't.
they said they support the Broadcom wireless drivers now.
Yeah, they
They must have heard me complaining.
They came with a boatload of the Broadcom drivers this time. So
Well, good, good. And their installation CD image has shrunk again. They said it now only occupies 299 megabytes for the 64-bit version and 313 megabytes for 32-bit. So,
All right.
yeah. And they're saying stay tuned because they are going to be releasing 1.0 in expectation of the forthcoming Debbie and Jesse release. So we'll probably see them shortly.
Cool. All right. On the 7th, we have Manjaro Linux 0.8.12, and they are a stable release on Arch with XFCE and KDE as their desktops.
Yeah, and they're using well, they've got, I guess, the KDE Plasma 5 installation media,
Right.
but
there's
they're
nothing flashy in this. It was just a maintenance release.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I couldn't find too much to say about it.
All right. And the last on our list today is Corora 21. And they are a user-friendly desktop based on Fedora 21. They have Cinnamon, GNOME, KDE, and XFCE.
Yeah, a little bit of news about these guys is they said we've been able, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, I don't know how this bodes for the future, but they said we've been able to maintain our XFCE and Cinnamon desktop editions for another cycle. Unfortunately, due to the lack of any active maintainers, we decided to drop the Mate edition. So if you are using Corora with Mate, you're not going to be getting
I
any
just don't think
updates.
Mate ever took off. I don't think. I mean,
It's because people kept calling it Mate.
well, it should be called Mate, and I don't think that's the reason.
No, it's not. I was just joking.
Right.
Um,
It's code named Darla, and I saw their G Plus post. Did you guys see it?
No.
Yes.
It was this girl with a funny face.
Yeah.
And
I
it was
know.
funny.
I know. A couple other things too about this release of Corora. They haven't really released for almost a year because I haven't seen them on DistroWatch on the front page. But they were doing quite a bit of development on some new core technologies, and they also this release also debuts something that they call Lens, and I immediately thought of Ubuntu's lenses, but actually what it is, lenses are lightweight GUI applications that look native-ish in multiple desktop environments. So in other words, if you're running GTK, well, say you're running GNOME or something like that, and you want to run these little apps, they're going to look like they are GTK apps. And if you're running KDE and you want to, and I don't even know if KDE is available with this Corora, but anyway, just for illustration purposes, it'll look like a Qt app or Qt or Qt. So anyway, so that's something new that they've got. I'd be kind of curious. I've never really reviewed that. That'd be another one to put on the list. So Fedora. Oh, that would be interesting to put on the list.
What?
This Fedora-based distro to review. So I've never reviewed it. So
Yeah. All right. And that's it for the week.
Yes.
So we're going on to the top 5.
Top 5.
Number 5 is OpenSUSE with 1318.
And trending up.
And number 4 is Black Lab with 1418.
And trending up.
Number 3 is Ubuntu with 1709.
And trending up.
Number 2 is Debian with 1714.
And trending up.
And in the number 1 spot is Mint
Gotta love that minty goodness.
with 3029.
And trending up.
and I added my little BSD segment to this PCBSD is a strong 24 and trending up. And FreeBSD is also trending up, and that's at 36. The rest of them are down there somewhere.
All right.
So there you have it.
All right. Well,
I guess
guess
it's what are we
time-
moving on to next?
time for the news.
I think it is.
News time.
News time.
And
It's time for the tech news of the week.
so, Matt, do you have any news?
No.
All right.
I bet he's got a tooltip though.
I do.
All right. I've got actually I had a couple, but we talked about one of them already, and that was and then named our episode after the situation. That's the demise of, or at least the dormant.
Well,
Matt, go ahead and clarify my comment, will you?
the leader of the project has stepped aside. That doesn't necessarily mean that the project is going to die.
Mhm.
It probably is going to die.
See, Tony, that's how you get Matt to do a news item. So anyway, thank you, Matt.
You're welcome.
But my other news item, and I saw this. I think I saw this through Slashdot, I believe it was. Massive Utah cyber attacks up to 300 million per day may be aimed at NSA facility. And what they're talking about is apparently 5 years ago, Utah government computer systems faced between 25,000 and 30,000 attempted cyber attacks every day. But since the NSA built that facility out there in the Utah desert, it's a 10,000-fold increase. And they believe it's Utah state officials believe it's due to the NSA's facility, which I would tend to agree. So what they're saying now is one of the representatives said the state should approach the NSA or the federal government for money to help in defending against the cyber attacks. It's kind of like your new neighbor is, creating problems for you. So yeah, you get them to pay up. So I guess we'll see how far that goes.
You blow their house up in the middle of
Yeah, you wouldn't get within a mile of that NSA place.
the night.
But anyway, so they said that that the leap in cyber attacks tells you just how exponentially this has increased over the years, and how many more criminals are realizing it is easier to steal from individuals and businesses and government online with less chance of getting caught than robbing a bank. So that is really true when you think about it. So anyway, so that I thought that was interesting. There'll be a link to that in the show notes. The only other thing I've got here is, let me just quickly mention this, a little something I call Mary's Cool Tool. And this is something I put out in Google Plus, and that is that presentation that you can create from the command line. It is a little utility called, I think it's, hang on a second, I'll open this up and tell
Wow,
you
that's
what
a
it is.
cool tool.
Yeah, it is.
Wish I knew the name.
It's called MDP.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's an ncurses based command line presentation tool for Linux. What's really nice about it is that it doesn't take much to install it, and the article, the link to which will be in the show notes, gives you the information to install it not only in Debian and Ubuntu and their derivatives, but also in Fedora and CentOS and Red Hat, as well as Arch. And so from there, then there's the tutorial to show you how to do it. And it looks really cool because it looks just like a command line. I mean, your terminal, and there's your slides. I mean, it has indents, bullets. You can put rectangles around things, change colors and everything. But it looks just, it's running in the terminal. So unfortunately, I will not be able to use it for my Swim with Dolphin presentation, since Dolphin is graphical and this is not. But I just thought it was pretty cool, and I'm going to include a link to it in the show notes.
Well, all right.
Cool.
Tony,
All right.
over to
Well,
you.
I was going to talk about the Raspberry Pi 2, but we already talked about it during the disc shows. So very cool stuff.
Yeah.
The other thing I saw floating around was the Ubuntu smartphone shipped.
It's going to ship.
Well, no, people have already gotten, or Jordan Keys he's a YouTube guy. He's already gotten his unboxed.
I'm sure it's in advance. I thought what I read said it was something like next week it was going to start.
Oh, okay. Well, they said that and you may be right. I haven't seen a ship date.
One of our listeners sent that link into us. Did you see that?
Yeah, and that's why I'm talking about it.
Oh, okay.
So thank you,
Gotcha.
thank you, Xander.
Xander.
But anyway, they said that it's the Aquarius E.4.5, the E4.5 Ubuntu edition,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not focused on apps. So it's like a card user face, so you can like flip through to see everything you need. And the other thing it does is it does not do, is what the original proposals is. It, when you plug it into the monitor, it doesn't become a Ubuntu desktop. So I'm not sure whether that was just a lofty goal that they had, or what the deal was.
I think that would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah, and the whole idea is that you have your desktop and your phone and everything. You walk around with it, you plug it into the dock, and
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden it becomes your desktop, and you can start using it with keyboard and mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of reminds me of you remember when you used to be able to, well, you still can do it actually, but you'd install a Linux distro onto a thumb drive and you could plug it into anything and boot from that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's kind of the same concept. It's just that the hardware is a little different. That's all.
right.
Huh.
And yeah. More multi-use. Very cool. And that's all I have.
Okay.
So we're kind of light on
I-
news this week.
I've got one little KDE corner item. Digicam 4.7 is out, and also they've got a port to the KDE Framework 5 is in progress. So, and despite the fact that that's in progress, they're going to continue to support the KDE 4 version. And that Digicam 4.7 is really nice application for managing photos and other similar graphics. And that is what I have.
All right. Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
So next up is the toolbox.
Tools from the toolbox.
All right. And our tool today is going to be grep, Google for the shell. The grep command was created by Ken Thompson as a standalone application adapted from the regular expression parser he had written for ed, which he also created. In ed, the command g/re/p would print all lines matching a previously defined pattern. Some believe it is an acronym for Global Regular Expression Print. This is a misnomer. In the beginning, people extended grep by forking it into other programs. Hence, we get fgrep, searches for a literal string, applying no regex. egrep uses extended regex, and PCR egrep uses Perl compliant regex. Now, however, all of that functionality has been incorporated into grep itself with the following flags respectively: -uppercase F, -uppercase E, and -uppercase P. grep is considered one of the most useful commands in any Unix system. The grep command always works the same way. Beginning at the first line in the file, grep copies a line into a buffer, compares it against the search string, and if the comparison passes, prints the line to the screen. grep will repeat the process until the file runs out of lines. Notice that nowhere in the process does grep store lines, change lines, or search only part of a line. The simplest way to use grep would be grep smith Etsy password 0.txt, and then in my sample file that returns 2 users with the last name of Smith. Note, throughout this document, I will use single quotes around my search terms. This is not always necessary, and these examples will work without them. If, however, your search term contains a space, they are necessary. Double quotes can also be used. If you wanted to search for either a single quote or a double quote, you would need to escape it. I think No, wait, because
You-
I have my file available online,
Mhm.
and I thought I put that in here, but
That's cloud
I should have mentioned it by now.
cloud computing.
I think maybe during my editing process something got deleted. It shouldn't have got deleted.
Mm.
Anyway, if you want to follow along with this, the files are available at csittext.com/presentations. And there's 2 files there in that directory. One is called Etsy password 0.txt. The other is Etsy password 1.txt. The only difference is one is colon delimited and the other is space delimited. And either will work for these examples. In this example, grep would loop through every line in the file Etsy password 0 and print out every line that contains the text Smith. If you want to use these, oh, here it is now. I just didn't read far enough. If you want to use these examples, you will find my file from here at csittext.com/presentations. There are 2 files. I said all this already. The first example is great, but what if it is a large file and you want to know where the lines are so that you can go in and edit them with an editor? You could use the -n flag, and then we find out that the 2 lines that previous grep gave us are line 52 and line 177. Another useful flag, and one I use often, is the V flag. What the V flag does is it will give you the negative results of your search. So in the example, say we do grep-v:1, then what I'm saying there is show me every example of a user that does not have a 1 starting their UID. And it proceeds to list about nine users, all of them system users. And I gotta scroll down here, and I forgot my mouse. And as you see it printed, every line that does not contain a :1. The -c flag counts the lines that would have been printed in your search. So if we do grep-c user bin bash from the Etsy password file, we find out that there are 120 users on this system that use bash as their default shell. Then we have the -i flag, which will make your search case insensitive. So if we do grep-i Maria, we would get 3 results: 2 human users and 1 for the MariaDB server. So now we see that even though we search for Maria all in lowercase, our search matched the pattern Maria with an uppercase M. So we also can use regular expressions to search out complex patterns. If we wanted to find all the users with UIDs or GIDs between 1004 and 1007 and 1104 and 1107, we would do something like this: grep-uppercase E, single quote, :1, open square bracket, 01, close square bracket, 0, open square bracket, 4-7, close square bracket, :. And then that matches our 8 users. And I scrolled, and I don't know how I scrolled. I hate touchpads. Thank you very much.
This is very
You can-
riveting, Matt.
Huh?
This is very riveting. Thank you.
I'm sure it is. If you want, you may do the tooltip anytime, Tony.
Hey, you can turn off your touchpad and
But-
use your mouse. Oh, you don't have a mouse.
Where you're not paying attention, right?
Yeah. Apparently I wasn't. All right.
Okay. And our search pattern print. Okay, I said that already. Remember earlier when we searched for Maria and we got back 2 users and the system MariaDB user? Well, if we only wanted the human users, we could do something like this. grep-I uppercase E, so that means case insensitive, and use extended regex. So then we do single quote Maria, all lowercase, and then /B, and then a single quote. And then it returns only the 2 human users, because what we did by applying that /B, that means a word boundary. So that means that the word stop. It should
Stop on a
only
space.
it should match only where Maria. Then at the A, the next character after the A is a word boundary. So it's either a tab, a space, some type of a word boundary delimiter, a slash, and that's why it no longer matches the MariaDB user.
Okay.
And if you want to know more about how to use grep's extended regex, come to my talk at PenguaCon 2015. And you can find out about that at 2015.penguacon.org. Remember, the best way to learn is by doing. Go play and learn.
Very cool, man. Thank you.
Thanks,
you.
Matt.
Yeah, grep is pretty nice. I've used that.
I use it
quite a
every
few
day.
times.
And I use
egrep.
it-
You ever heard of egrep?
Let's see.
You covered that, didn't you?
Is that
Yes.
extended
Okay.
grep?
No, I think it's the same as grep
It's
space dash
deprecated.
uppercase E.
What it does is there used to be separate programs.
Mm-hmm.
So like you used to have egrep, fgrep, PCR egrep,
Mm-hmm.
but they've all been eliminated and rolled into grep, and you use the -F, -E.
It makes sense. Makes a lot of
-G.
sense. Yeah.
egrep is still available on some systems. On most systems, it's still available,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of times it's actually just aliased to grep
Dash E.
-E for extended expression. However, on Fedora it is not, and I MD5 some both of the binaries, and they're different. So I don't know what Fedora is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Huh. I know grep is really has come in very helpful for me.
Yes.
Even in my very modest technical
I use it every
acumen
day.
when it
Not-
comes to
At least
administering.
Mm-hmm. Once an hour at work, I
Mhm.
am on the fly creating some grep in combination with awk to
Yeah.
look for nefarious shit in transfer logs.
Nice.
Good. Well, great. That's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I think it would be helpful too, especially when you're going through some of the commands and things, as if we had like a little graphic. I don't know how we would be able to do that, but
Well, I figure
you're right. Yeah.
the listeners, the vast
the
majority of our
vivid
listeners,
imagination of
no, the vast majority of our listeners aren't listening live, and that's why I provided the file for
true
download,
that.
so
True that.
they
Yep.
can follow along with the notes, which are online
Mhm.
already, and as they listen to the show, then they can do.
Yeah, that's
If
a good
we-
point.
If we had a producer, like somebody that could sit off to the side and run the Hangout, we can do all that stuff. And there can be screenshots of as Matt's talking and throwing in links in the YouTube video. That's just we don't.
Yeah, that's
So,
okay. That's
I don't
all
have
right.
enough time.
Yeah,
What's
that's
Kim
fine.
she's
doing?
she's minding to children at the
What's Kim doing?
moment.
She's getting ready for a new child.
Right. Oh.
Oh, that was funny.
It was supposed to be.
All right.
Hey, you know something? Before we move into our next segment, one little news item, Tony. I'm going to turn it over to you. But Matt,
Yeah.
you're going to immediately say, "Oh, I should have spoken about that."
It's the Open BSD Foundation fundraiser for this year.
Because I tweeted about it, and it's actually been retweeted like 20 times by a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They said their goal is 200,000. If they had $10 for every Open BSD installed in the last year, then they would meet their
That was
goal.
only. That's not what it says. It says
Ignoring Mary's.
Yes, and it was downloaded from the
their main
undeadly.org.
site.
Right?
If they had a penny for every OpenSSH install,
That was-
or ANPF, or every
Yeah.
PF or
Or-
OpenSSH install,
That was
then they would meet their
yeah,
goal.
done with a regular distribution where OpenSSH or Android, not Android,
PF.
PF came with the actual installation.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
so that's pretty cool. So I put a link on our show notes, and they said last year they made their goal because they had the publicity over OpenSSL or LibreSSL
Mhm.
really ramped up their fundraising. But so go ahead and check it out.
Oh,
And they are currently at $0.
Oh, that's not true. That has
Yeah.
not been updated. I donated.
Oh,
yeah.
I figured.
They should have a.
So did I.
They should have at least $15 from me.
I thought it was going to be like a dynamic thing every time they got money. It would just automatically increase.
Well, you
but
know, and it's funny
apparently
that
it's a
little
static.
thermometer. If you click the amount there, and that will take you to a place where I guess you can use these kinds of thermometers for things, and you can see that. But they must not have it set up. Well, you know, OpenBSD is so locked down. They probably it's kind of script that's not active.
There you
But
go.
yeah, they have more than no dollars.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I do hope they meet their fundraising goal quickly.
Yes.
So
You
It's
can-
like it's like what I said in my tweet too. I mean,
throw a couple bucks in.
have you used OpenSSH recently? Yes. Then they're waiting for your donation.
Right.
I use OpenSSH every day. I couldn't do my job without it.
And I don't even use it. I mean, to my knowledge, I mean, I don't actively use it. It might be part of something that I'm using.
You never SSH into remote computers?
Not in the last 2 to 3 years. No.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm not set up that way right now. But I am thinking of repurposing one of my systems because I'm getting a new computer on Tuesday.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah, half a what is it? Not a gig, half of a. It's going to have 8 gigs of RAM. It's going to have a half a terabyte SD card.
Ooh.
SD drive?
Yeah,
Solid state drive?
card. Yeah, that's
You'll fit right in with those system D developers.
it's going to be running Windows. It's for my financial market stuff. Well, I can't help it, you know.
Ooh.
Believe me, if I could get out of that, I would.
With 500 gigs, you can easily
It's called a
dual boot
VM.
or
It's
VM
called
or-
install Linux, put Windows in the VM.
Well, I'm getting there's a second hard drive that's a 1 terabyte drive, and that's where all my stuff is. So
All
it's
right.
going to have secure boot, I'm sure. I have to talk to them about that. Okay,
Are you going to upgrade to 10? No, I'm just joking.
I might.
You'll get to upgrade to 10 for free.
Yeah, I might. Yeah. We'll
All
see.
right.
How, and I'm sure it's going to look. There are some Linux elements that it's going to have. You know, like the multiple desktops and activities. You know that you can do.
Yeah.
And all of that. So, anyway.
I don't know. I haven't used Windows. Oh no, that's a lie. Because at work occasionally I have to RDP into a Windows server to do some things, just because I'm too lazy to get Java working on my.
All right.
Yum install.
It doesn't make it work.
Oh, all right.
Anyway, for going back to the BSD thing,
Oh, yes.
you can donate via PayPal, cash if you want, or I assume they take cash, but you can mail in a check to they have an address, or you can do a bank transfer,
Hmm.
or you can even donate with Bitcoin via BitPay. So very cool.
Yep.
Check it out.
Do they take Dogecoin?
Doesn't look like
Oh,
Take what?
I'm out.
What?
Dogecoin. It's another electronic or crypto.
Cryptocurrency.
I'm not even into Bitcoin because if I can't see it in my hand,
It's wacky.
You know what I
Yeah.
forgot about this week, that I upgraded my phone to Lollipop, and
You have it rooted?
no, and that's what is amazing. That Verizon actually released Lollipop for the S5. I was excited. I saw an article and
Mhm.
I went right to it, and I said check for updates, and there it was.
Wow.
What was interesting, there was a 2-part
My
upgrade.
Nexus 7 is
Do you-
too.
Do you know what I got to be in the like, I guess it's the not the beta, because it was the beta, I'd be getting it free and I'm not. But it's
Early release.
Dish TV is doing this new thing called Sling TV.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, pay $20 a month, and you
Is
get
that the Hopper?
you get no, I get all the ESPN channels, or like 2 of the ESPN channels or something.
Mhm.
I don't watch them, so not sure what's going on. But then I get TBS and TNT, and I get probably like 10 channels
Hmm.
of television programming. I get HGTV, Food Network.
Really?
Yeah, on my phone.
Yeah, it's all streaming over the internet.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Hmm.
it's great. And so yeah, they sent, because I sent them I signed up and said, hey, when this is available, you let me know. And they say, hey, we're doing a limited trial. If you want it,
Yeah. Yeah.
come
Yeah.
to this specific page
Wow.
and sign up. And I'm really liking it.
And you're not currently a Dish
No,
subscriber,
I
right?
don't subscribe to Dish at all.
And so that's nice. Yeah.
It
So
is.
people that want to be a cord cutter,
Yeah,
but
it's totally and they have a section on there where you can rent current movies. Like Lucy is, if it's on DVD, it's pretty much available on the.
wow, nice.
So, yeah, I'm like, I've been banging on it pretty hard. Like this morning, I was installing a ton of different shit. I'm trying to be able to get it to hook up to my laptop so that it will show it on my laptop instead of on my phone.
Oh,
And I'm just not having any luck.
Yeah.
Mm.
we have. Did you get a new phone yet, or
No, I still
no?
have
It's a
the antique.
fairly old phone.
Yeah,
What is it?
S2. Samsung
S2.
S2.
So old that it uses Roman numerals.
Yes.
'Cause I'm not sure if the S2 does it, but I know my S4 and the 5 does, where you can get a cable, plug it into a TV, HDMI, and
Yeah, I
it'll
have
take a whole
tube. I
screen.
have a tube TV.
I use
My TV
Chromecast.
has a place to screw the cable in.
Okay.
Hey, Matt.
Yes,
I might have a TV for you.
I would be interested in this.
I think it's about 32-inch.
Well, I hope it'll fit on top of my dresser.
I don't know. I'll look into it and just see.
All
All right. So
Reasonably priced.
y-
discuss this
yeah,
off the air.
very. The one thing I was going to mention too. Over the last couple of weeks, I started looking up tutorials, trying to figure out what would be the best tutorial to root my S3. I keep saying I'm going to do it, and I started to, and I ran into some little glitchy thing. I think it's about a week and a half ago. So I'm going to go back and look at it again and just see if I can find one and do that, because I keep getting these Sprint things, even though I no longer am with Sprint. They keep updating stuff, and I was like, get off my phone. But if you root, you can get rid of certain applications, can't you?
Yes, you're
Like-
in total control.
Okay. That's just a great feeling. All right.
All right.
All right. So what's next?
Listener feedback.
Listener feedback.
Yeah, I don't
You-
have Is It Alive.
Okay.
It's still being worked on. I'll have one. I always make it hard on myself. The week that I have like a review or book review or something, I then have Is It Alive? It's like I put all my work into one thing. Okay.
All right. So we have Scott Dowdle emailed us.
He did.
Yes.
He did?
It
Yes, he
was
did.
Yes, he
Um,
did.
About the last episode. He
Yes.
says, I'm only 35 minutes or ish into the show, but wanted to talk. or
I
jot this
applaud
off,
him getting that far.
about Proxmox Mail Gateway,
Oh yeah.
where they've had the Mail Gateway out before the VE, but PVE has overshadowed it. And
Mhm.
Matt, you responded.
Yeah, I did with a question, which he answered.
Great.
Yeah. And then we got a comment from the website from JP Noob Tex Check TX Tech. Noob TX Tech.
Texas Tech.
Yeah. He says that he's rooted the Evo VG or V4G with the Virgin Mobile version. And he says it can be done, and he sent me the Android forms.
Oh wow. Are
So
you
we'll
gonna
see.
give it a try?
I think I will. Yeah. Once Oh, it'll probably take me 6 months before I get to it with everything else in my
Oh,
life going
sure,
on.
sure.
But
And then Brian also commented in. He said Tony, he had a similar problem when he updated to Kubuntu 14.10. He said, "Did you update the VirtualBox extension pack? Would you have to get off VirtualBox's site? Would you have to get off VirtualBox?"
oh, right, that's right. I'll have to look at that. Maybe I didn't do it. Yeah, that probably is it because I didn't. I didn't have those installed before, and then when I moved to the other computer, I didn't reinstall it. So maybe that's it. All right.
And then Xander gave us the Ubuntu phone thing, which you've already talked about.
That's right. And
Brad.
Brad, yeah, Mary and Brad had
quite
a
the lengthy
conversation.
private conversation.
I CC'd the show. Yeah, he was given PCBSD a go.
Yes, he
And
has installed it.
Yeah, and the wonderful ZFS file system. Oh, another thing I did is I activated Life Preserver, which is the backup utility that PCBSD sets on top of ZFS. So I've got backups happening now. The next step, of course, is to get those backups off this machine and onto a separate machine. But I wanted to at least give that a try. But yeah. So Brad, he was liking what he saw, and then he had some. He also mentioned that he's putting together, or he had put together a free NAS system, I think it was, and some of the pitfalls of doing that.
Right. Yeah.
And then yesterday, I came across an article. It was on the Free NAS website. There's a 2-part article that basically lays out all the hardware requirements. If you want to put a Free NAS box together, all of the hardware requirements are laid out for you. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I heard about that.
I read that article you posted to your G Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really.
Yeah, that was pretty good. And I became aware of it by way of the BSD Now podcast. So. Oh, speaking of that podcast, because there were 2 of them between our last, this episode and our previous one, Chris Moore gave a presentation at, I believe it was EuroBSDCon, where he talked about boot environments, he talked about replication, and again, this is with with PCBSD in mind, but of course, FreeBSD underlies it. But I found it to be very interesting, and that was one of the reasons why I fired up Life Preserver and put started backing things up. So
cool.
Yeah, just wanted to mention that.
That's awesome. All right, I think that's all we have for listener feedback. Then
okay,
so we're going on to
Featured music of the week.
the music for this week.
Yes.
And since Valentine's Day is going to happen before our next in U.S., I don't know how many countries does Valentine's Day, but I think it's one of those fabricated card days, holidays. No, I don't know.
Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
Totally made up.
Yeah, Hallmark makes a ton of money. Nobody else does.
Yeah.
Well,
all the chocolate candy people.
Right. And flowers.
Diamonds. Oh, don't get me started on the diamond cartel. Woohoo!
Anyway.
Must have gone to Jared.
Exactly. So I picked out a song called Valentine by Ruda DeBelly. I don't know. He's a French guy. And so here you go. Listen in.
Ce matin, dans ma berline, en route pour l'usine, j'ai croisé Valentine sur la route des Innes. Elle était en vélo, moi j'étais en auto. Je klaxonne pour l'avertir, elle m'a fait un grand sourire. J'en étais tout chaud, un grand frisson dans les chines. Pourtant ce n'était pas grand chose, Valentine.
Thanks
All
for
right.
that clarification in the IRC, Mary. I would have never gotten that.
It's in French. It
Yeah,
sounded very good.
Yeah,
Very
hopefully there's
lovely.
no bad language in it, but it sounds upbeat, so I don't
It
know
does.
why
It sounds
anybody
very
would
nice. Yeah.
say bad things. Anyway,
That's right.
so there we go. So you've been listening to the Sunday Morning Linux Review. This was episode 144.
Ode to Crunch Bang.
Crunch bang. You will be sorely missed.
This is Tony Bemis.
Matt Enders
And Mary Tomich.
saying, see you next time.
Done.
All right.
Got
All
it.
right.
See, isn't that easier, Matt? See you next time.
Way
And
better than a fortnight.
a fortnight is not. I mean, a fortnight was kind of cool in its own way, but as far as just the verbal smoothness,
Yes.
see you next time, because you don't really commit to when that next time is.